He's not
Okay,
online.
good evening, friends, Play Chess members. This is Frederick Friedel, and this is my dear friend Hou Yifan.
Hello, everyone.
And we will be doing a Q&A, and you can ask questions in a moment. But for the time being, I'm going to talk to Yifan to find out, why are you in Hamburg?
Well, actually, I'm here to visiting one of my very good friend for a long time. It's almost 10 years until now.
And who's that?
Let everyone guess who's him. Okay, him, I already revealed something. Actually, it's Frederick who's talking with us here.
Yeah, I met Yifan when she was 13 years, that's 10 years ago, yeah?
Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, actually, 9 years ago, I think in 2007 in Vacancy, right?
In Vacancy, exactly. And I went to her and I spoke to her and I said, "You're a very strong chess player." And she said, "Yes." And I said, "You work hard?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "You understand a word I'm saying?" She said, "Yes." I realized she doesn't speak any English except one word, yeah?
Well, actually, I don't really remember that thing. So when you was saying that, my first answer was yes, I was already a bit shocked because I think that's not my style. Normally, I will not say yes for those questions. And then when you keep continuing to the second or the third one, I realized, okay, probably because I don't understand what was your question.
So I called her trainer and I said, "Tell this girl to promise me, I mean, we know each other now for many minutes, like 3 minutes. Tell her she must spend 10% of the time learning English and 90%
Yes,
for
I
chess."
remember.
You remember that, yeah?
Yes.
And so she said yes, and that was it. And then Christmas time, this is like 10 months later, Christmas Eve, I get an email from Yifan saying, "Hello, dear Frederick. I have learned English. I have taken your advice. I'm attending a class." Suddenly she could speak English. I
Yeah.
almost cried, you know, it was so beautiful.
Honestly speaking, I followed your advice and to spend 10% time, probably a little bit less by the way, to learn
Yeah.
English. But the more important part is that unfortunately at that moment I didn't achieve to spend 90% to study chess.
On chess. Because you became interested in studies, yeah?
At that time, yeah, okay, it cannot say that I became interested in study because at that time I was just 11, 12 years old, who supposed to be a normal student at that moment. So I'm just kind of not giving up my study, not because of participating in chess tournaments. So I'm kind of wanted to only be a professional chess player.
This was your wish, yeah?
I mean, not only to be the
But I mean,
professional
now,
chess player.
for example, now you're in Hamburg, and we spent 3 days together, and you spent all your time applying to university for studies which have nothing to do with chess.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, we have to point out that although I just finished my playing Elfman, and my performance is not so great, although I don't think it has been influenced by my application or things so on, but definitely both things takes your energy. And what I was applying is for Rhodes Scholarship, which I would like to give it a shot because they just wanted to have mainland Chinese students since last year. Last year is the first time that they want some candidates to apply for the scholarship. So that's why this year I would like to give it a shot.
So she spent 3 days filling out the forms and curriculum vitae and so on. And are you going to reveal which scholarship?
Sorry, what's the question?
Which scholarship? Are you going to tell our people?
I already mentioned before.
Which one?
The Rhodes.
Yeah, okay. She didn't say it clearly. It's the Rhodes Scholarship. Rhodes Scholarship. This is a scholarship which Edwin Hubble got, and Bill Clinton and Susan Rice and so on. So it's one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world. And you have applied for it and you have a chance, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, because I would love to continue my master's studying abroad, and the Rhodes Scholarship is definitely one of the most challenging one you could apply as a student. And in the meantime, I think that not only the best academic students could apply for that, not only them could have the chances. I would like to try to represent for the we could call it athletes who was also interested in studying, because I think that my sports experience could help my many aspects, enhance my experience.
Yes.
So I would like to encourage more people who has a similar background with me to think more possibilities for their future life.
We'll come to questions in a second, but what exactly would you be studying?
You
in
mean
Oxford?
Oxford. Okay, if I could apply, I would love to apply for the development studies.
Development studies, yeah?
Well, yes, because what I might hope to do in the future is that to promote women's sports, to let more girls knew that chess is not only chess, but sports is not only something that you can just fight for the medals, for the champion, but also a way of living that might change your life to influence your future, living ways.
Yeah, I was reading your curriculum vitae and your personal background, and you told a very nice story about how you're playing with girls from underdeveloped countries, or third world countries. And what was your observation there?
Not really through playing with them, because I was not really playing with many,
Yeah, but they were in the same tournament.
Yeah, we went to the same tournament. Even I played with some of the girl players. And through talking or through my kind of observation, I found that because we knew that, for example, the women players from African countries they're not so. Their skills are not so powerful. They're participating in the tournaments. Normally, they're not fighting for the first place. We all knew it. But later I found out that some of them, maybe just a few of them, what they were trying to do is just trying to play for the next morning's breakfast, which really, shocked me.
Yeah.
Because as we could call it kind of professional chess player who studied chess for more than 15 years.
Yes.
So in my mind, or most of my friends, we are training not every day. We are learning chess just to help to improve your results, trying to achieve your goals. But what they are doing is just a kind of way of living.
Yeah, just playing for the next meal,
Yes.
And she saw this and is determined now to try and introduce a program, a non-profit program to help girls learn to play chess and use chess to improve their lives, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Not only chess. Of course, what I wanted to do is mainly focus on chess, but also I would like to combine with some other sports as well, but generally for women's athletes, because I wanted to let people know that sports is not only connected with the medals, connected with the first place, connected with the best players, the stars, but also with different groups. Whatever you are, whatever your role is, you could find your definition while doing the sports you like.
Very nice. Now, we should come to some of the questions. We have such a lot of questions. One is, I'm going to read a few from Play Chess. One person, Fortgeschrittenen is his name, is what is now better, your English or your chess?
Well, this is a difficult question because I think both of them I need to improve. Definitely, I think I should say that my chess is improved more faster than my English, because this is kind of my profession. But if you're considering that I started to learn chess earlier than my English,
yes,
then it becomes another question.
Yes, of course.
And especially that my rating has dropped a lot in recent, I think, half year.
Why?
Okay, this is a serious question suddenly. I think it contains many different reasons. It's probably because that I'm not that hardworking enough for last few months because I just graduated the summer.
You finished your degree now.
Yeah, already.
So you
in
spent
summer.
a lot of time at university.
Yeah, because I'm just one of the normal students in Peking University, which is one of the best in China. So I need to do a lot of research, studies, thesis in university, and really trying to learn something. Besides that, I'm also, spending a lot of time on campus activities.
Mm-hmm. What kind of campus activities?
Well, although I'm also taking responsibility for the chess one, but what my interest is like for some area studies groups and this hip hop dancing, hip hop, like street dance,
Street
dancing.
dancing.
Oh yes.
You do street dancing?
No, I'm not really doing that very good, but I'm really fascinated to watch that.
So you can't do a little bit here.
No. Better wait for next few years.
Okay. Now, a couple of questions. People have been asking us questions on Twitter and Facebook. Let's start with Vernon Ray Buenavista. He says, do you have any plans to come to the United States? Hopefully you will have a tournament there. Hoping for a picture with you.
Wow. Actually, I've been to America twice before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all are happened last year. One was in Hawaii. There's actually, I think the organizer also contacted me via your...
Yes, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah, exactly. That tournament was a friendly one, Rapid Blades, and the second one was held in St. Louis. There's a friendly and a very interesting match with Paramaggi Negi, where they include, I think, 4 different formats, not only Rapid Blades, but also Basque chess and Fischer Random chess.
Are you going to play against him?
No, we already did last year.
You played, yes, of course. Of course, you played against him.
Yeah.
You like Negi? Negi's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a very kind person.
He's extremely well educated.
Yeah, of course. He's studying Stanford.
He's studying in Stanford, yeah. He was one of the youngest grandmasters in the history of the game, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, back to the question. Of course, I would love to be back to play more chess tournaments, especially the elite ones in the US. And talking about this, actually, I'm also thinking I'll probably apply for my future studying in US universities.
Yeah. So if Oxford doesn't work out, the United States, great. Mm-hmm. Okay, Tejas Jayade asks, how do you battle other distractions and focus only on preparing chess?
Other
distractions. There are so many things in life, which distract you.
Distractions.
How do you battle it and concentrate only on chess?
Well, I think I'm not calling all those things distractions, because I think if you are trying to balance all the stuff you're interested in or surrounded you in a better way, then you could do very well. You could really balance that, separate your energy. Although it might take, for example, delay you to improve your chess skills. Mm-hmm. But it makes sense. I mean, it worth it, because in the meantime, you enjoy life, enjoy your other interests, and just makes your life more colorful. Okay. But of course, I think it's very important that you set priorities. Like, what kind of things is the most important thing for you, and like 1, 2, 3, and which I should done first. This is important. Otherwise, you will get headache. Oh, this is deadline, and while half finish it, you said, oh, I have another thing I want to do, and it will become all very messy.
Okay. By the way, don't be distracted if I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at 3 screens.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm looking for
don't
questions.
worry.
I'm listening to you all the time. Punit Do Hiya. How are the Chinese progressing so rapidly? China and India have become the superpowers of chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think Chinese players, especially our men players, grow up very fast in recent, we could call 5 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. They won different team tournaments. And the women players actually are keeping our results so far in decades. And India is also is a country that has much chess potentials. For example, I was just playing Elfman, and there we have almost 20 Indian players, and some of them are very young and potential.
11 years old, yeah?
Oh, yes, actually.
You played against him?
Yeah, I was playing with him in round 2.
And what happened?
Well, I won it, but we cannot call it an easy game. I mean, later on he got to time trouble and he made mistakes, but to play such a game for 11-year-old boy is already something amazing.
Do you know how to pronounce his name?
No.
Pragnananda, I think. Okay,
Huh?
now, Hou, this is now the hope in play chess. Hou, you have played the best players in the world. How important is it, do you think, to play against stronger players to improve?
Yeah, I think I'm really, I think I was very lucky to play with many strong grandmasters, the top players among the world, and that is really important for your chess improving. For example, the first time when we met, that is also the first time I played the YKZ, a very strong invitational tournament.
Yes.
Okay, the first time I was playing C group, then B group, then A group, but every time I think the average rating is higher than my rating, and I could learn from stronger players. Through this tournament, I think I learned a lot and get improved, we could call it. And I think what is even more good is that if you got a chance to analyze with the stronger players after the game, their thinking logics, their methods, sometimes could not inspire you, but gives you a new way to see the same chessboard.
Okay, Jiraiya Sama tells us how to pronounce the name. It is Pragn Anand Ha. Pragn Anand Ha.
Pragn Anand Ha.
We have to practice, yeah?
Yeah.
She's been trying to teach me how to pronounce her name correctly. Yifan. Wrong, yeah?
Okay, better. But the correct one is Yifan.
Yifan.
Oh, bravo.
Okay, I got
think
it
you
right.
did better, while we were talking.
Normally she tells me how to pronounce it. I say exactly what she's saying, and she says, no, and repeats it. It's because Chinese has a tonal language.
Mm-hmm.
So
4 different tones.
Yeah, exactly. And if I once, when you were a child, I went to this trainer, and I said, "You're the trainer of Hou Yifan?" And he said, "No, never heard of him." And I said, "Her trainer." He said, Hou Yifan. Yes, of course, because I hadn't sung the name correctly.
No, not Hou Yifan. It's Hou Yifan.
Hou Yifan. Yeah, exactly. I hadn't said that, and he couldn't understand what I was saying. Somebody else asks here. His name is Shah Tsokachen. Can you pronounce that? No. He asked, have you a second? Somebody who accompanies you and helps you during your matches and games?
It depends. Normally my mom is traveling with me to different tournaments.
She's a very, very strong player.
Probably she's the hiding one who coaches me. Okay, that's not. I mean, time to time I was working with some coaches.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the last World Championship match which held in Lviv with Maria Mutsyuk, I was working with Vladimir Chuchilov. Yeah, and I mean, how to say? Okay, let me explain from the very beginning.
Yes.
Because under the Chinese system, we have the chief coach of the national team and the coach for the women's team and the men's team. But what they are doing is to take care of many players, not only the national team's players, but also some very young players. So far at some moment when I was growing up, my results get improved. I need to face more strong players. Somehow, it became necessary to work with someone that could help you specifically. So that's why at some sudden moment I'm thinking really to try to find someone to work with. But at this moment, there's no one that I'm working for a long term. But I think that's probably the thing I will try to seriously think in the future, because I think it will be useful if you could find the right person to work with for a long term.
You know, I spoke to your trainer, Chuchulov, Vladimir Chuchulov, and I said, you know, we arranged some sort of a meeting, and you know, you had some training with him, and I went to him and I said, how strong is she? And he looked me in the eye and he said, probably the strongest person, most talented person I've ever trained. Seriously,
oh, really?
He said that, yeah. And I said, come on, you've trained Caruana and Giri and Rajubov and so on.
Many strong
He said, yeah, but these are players who have worked very, very hard. And she hasn't even started to work. She's running on pure talent. And he was serious, you know. I said, come on, you're just saying this because she's my friend. No. She's just watch her. So, now, a few more questions.
By the way, I'm sorry to disturb, but this makes me has two feelings. First of all, that I'm very happy to hear that, because I got a hope that I really could improve if I work hard. But on the other hand, it makes me upset, because that proves that for the last, not decades, but at least a few years, I'm not that hardworking at all.
Not at all. He said you don't even know how to work, whereas these Eastern European grandmasters, many of them, he's trained, or these absolute professionals, they are working machines, you know. And she comes along, and she's never really worked very hard, and she's playing purely on talent. And look at her results. That's his opinion. So, a few quick questions. Rowan Vogel, or Vogel, your most depressing moment in your chess career?
Right now?
No, yeah, in your life in chess.
Oh, you mean any depressing?
The most.
The most. Hard to define the most one, but it comes to my mind a few. I think objectively I should say the one that back to 2008, when I first time qualified for the final match of the Women's World Chess Championship, but I destroyed it.
Ah, yes.
I lost it. But actually, that's not really makes me upset at that time, because after the match, I was thinking that, I didn't really make too much mistakes. My performance was not extremely bad than I thought, but still I'm losing it, so I should improve myself in the future. What really makes me upset when I was young, something came to my mind, is in 2006. One of the rounds I think I was playing with Georgian player, if I'm not mistaken, is Melia.
Melia, yeah?
Yes. I was playing with her. I was having a completely winning position, but in few moves I just miscalculated something, and suddenly she reversed the game. And because of that losing, finally I couldn't win that tournament. It's the World Girls Chess Championship when I was 12 years old. So that really makes me upset, because I think that normally I shouldn't lose such a game.
Yes. Well.
And then I think there must be another few moments like that.
Okay.
And also some moments besides chess could also make me depressing.
Tell us. You want to share one of these moments?
Okay, I wouldn't share something very detailed, but just for example, in my university, there was a kind of election where, it's a general election, but you need to prepare a lot, like the paperwork, trying to make new friends, to know the students and the professor from different departments, and so on. I was preparing at the last moment, because I got some recommendation, and trying to change myself to be more, open-minded in case to suit that atmosphere. And I think I was trying very hard, but finally still the result is not very, satisfying. What makes me a little bit upset is to realize that really in the world there's really something that you're not good at.
Yes.
Although you tried, you could have doing okay, but that's for yourself. Just like somebody are born with talent for those kind of things,
Yes,
which
exactly.
you're not good at.
This is so true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not good at many things.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, a few more questions. Chris Parsons asks, how do you study openings? But that's a big question. Can you?
You know,
Very
if I really know the answer about this question, then my rating, I think I will improve my opening a lot.
Yes.
Because you could find that my opening play is not, sometimes even not good with player with lower rating.
Yes. Who's your favorite historical chess player before Kasparov?
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah?
When you said before, it kind of temporarily stopped. I was thinking before whom? If you said like before Laska or Capablanca, I really need to think for a while. But when I heard Garry Kasparov, then I said, oh, okay. Whatever before or not before, my all-time favorite chess player is Bobby Fischer.
Okay, all time. Even after Kasparov and so on.
Yeah.
Including Kasparov and Magnus and... Okay.
And all-time not only means this, but it means since very young age and until this moment.
This is all from Facebook. Magesh Bodade says, if there was a time machine you can go back, which world champion would you like to play?
Same answer. Bobby Fischer.
Okay.
Yeah, not only I would love to play with him, even if you could give me a machine that I could meet and talk with him, that will be brilliant. Because, very sadly that when I started to participate in the international chess tournament, at that time he already not very active. I was thinking that if I could have born 10 years earlier, I could really try to find a chance to meet with him or even play a friendly game with him, But at this moment, it's really impossible.
After this is over, I'll tell you about my conversations with him. I spoke to him for many hours on the phone.
Really?
Yes. You don't know this, yeah? I'll tell you about it.
I didn't hear a story before.
Okay, Samuel Flanagan on Facebook says, do you think you will beat Nigel Short? And I have someone on Twitter, his name is, what's this name?
Sorry?
His name
Nigel.
is Nigel Short, yeah, okay. His name is apparently Nigel Short. He asks on Twitter, are you going to beat that useless old English git? You know what a git is?
Sorry?
Git, an old English git.
What means
git? Is, it's a derogatory term for an old man.
Oh.
So he is asking, Nigel Short is asking, are you going to beat that useless old English git?
Do you think it's really Nigel Short?
It is.
Or is someone who pretend to be him?
No, it's him. He called me to remind me to use his questions.
Actually, these two questions are similar.
Yeah, they're the same, but do you think you can beat him?
Tough one. Honestly speaking, of course, as a player, I would say that I really wanted to try my best to beat. But, Nigel is also one of my good friends we knew many years ago. So...
Is it harder to beat a good friend?
Well, honestly speaking, for me, I separate the friendship and chess. Even I'm trying very hard during the game, that doesn't mean that, because I don't treat you as my best friend, I don't treat you as my good friend, just because chess is my career. I wanted to, take responsibility for that. So I would like to try my best and not make myself regret whatever whom is my opponent.
Some players need to hate their opponents.
Oh, no. This is not my style at all.
Not your style.
Normally, I don't know how my opponent's thinking, but I think I'm behaving friendly to my opponent. Because I noticed that some players, they could be very aggressive while they were playing. Even after the game we were talking, I found that, such a nice person. But during the game, I could feel, why you look so aggressive? But for me, I think I'm not that kind of. I think I'm the same. I'm in the same situation whenever playing or not playing. That could follow when I was young. That when I step out from the playing hall, nobody could notice that what was my resort.
Okay, I have, I have a lot of friends who are top grandmasters, and some of them, they will build up hate before a game. They say, look at him drinking his coffee like that, and so on. And I say, why are you watching him? They're trying to build up hate.
Really?
Yes, they need it for the games. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
I think that's a different kind of styles.
Here, which Nihal Sarin, former world under 10 and current world under 12 vice champion.
I think he's an Indian boy.
Yes, Nihal. He's a very nice kid. Which books and which software do you recommend for chess improvement?
Well, software is easy. I will answer this first because all the time I'm using ChessBase. Okay, not because today I'm sitting here, just because this is the most popular and useful software I used since from my young age. I think since from I got my first computer. Because just like you could find any convenient function, either searching games of your opponent, the database, the engines, the opening books, so you could find here. And, honestly speaking, I am not kind of having a good skills to use computer to train with chess. So what my recommendation could be very limited. Because normally I'm just using the software, the engines, and that's it. I'm not really using many different softwares. Okay, in chess part. Okay,
yes.
Besides chess, I'm also using many other stuffs.
Yes, of course.
And the chess books for a player already federated
23,000,
2400.
It's so small, yeah.
Not so easy, If you want me some recommendations for the beginners or for the young kids, I could do that because I think just 2 or 3 months ago I was coaching in my parents' chess club.
Yes.
So at that time I did some work, did some study, so I knew that what kind of book could be useful. And okay, generally answering this question, I think just some middle game books and end game books to enhance your theories. Because the openings we could work with computer.
So, Abhinav Shetty.
Oh, I saw here someone answered with Mark Dvoretsky's book.
Albert Silva?
Sure.
How about Mark Dvoretsky's
Yeah,
books?
exactly.
Somebody, Fortgeschrittenen, says Mark Dvoretsky's books. Have you read them?
Of course. Well, not all of them, but some of them, because many of his books is in Russian, and there's a very good teacher, very experienced chess player who was also a good friend of mine. He translated all the Russian books, most of them to Chinese, which benefits. Yes, but he didn't publish it. He just translated it by handwriting and give it to his chess pupils, we call it. So it benefits so many Chinese chess players.
It's so sad, isn't it?
Of
He
course.
was a friend, and suddenly he's gone.
Yeah, it was very sad when I saw
Abhinav
the
Shetty,
news.
you have one game against Conor Rahampi in the World Chess Championship of Petrov Knight C3 variation. Which player should... This is a very technical question. Which player should I follow after the moves Knight C3, D takes C3, Bishop E7, Bishop E3 variation for this
Women's
line?
World Chess Championship. If my memory is okay, first of all, I would like to say that I think that game was played in the World Team Championship in Tehran. Not in Mardin, Turkey in 2011. Not the World Championship. Although it's very close, just a few months in between, because I quickly thinking of my championship matches games, and I don't think we played the Petrov. So that game I think was in the World Team Championship. But okay, back to the question. Follow.
Knight C3 and then Knight takes C3.
You know what I'm
Quick advice.
But what I'm smiling is that suddenly it reminds me that I actually played the same variation, but with black in Vacancy at the beginning of this year with Carol champion Magnus,
Yes.
and with Fabiano Caruana. Both are very strong players. And what I did, I could call it successfully, although I lost to Magnus, but that was completely drawing endgame. So do you think I should suggest that you should learn in my games? No, it's not good. Okay, seriously, there are some good patch of players. I think.
Yeah.
Well, there were. I think Kramnik was playing Petrov before, and Bart's girlfriend was playing Petrov before, and I think a few years ago, Anish was also playing, and I think you just go into the database and to see from the rating list that whom you could follow.
But look at her games against Magnus and against Caruana. Come on, we've studied those. Okay, you have played against, this is ChessBase India, which is...
ChessBase India?
Yeah, we have a ChessBase India site.
Of course I know, but there is a question?
Yeah, they've sent it on Twitter. You have played against both Humpy and Harika in your chess career. Who has been the more difficult opponent for you, and why?
Actually, I played much more Indian players than these two girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and many strong men grandmasters as well, like even Vishy and Hare Krishna and the players very strong.
The big boys, yeah.
Okay, big boys, exactly. And also Indian, I think they have more women players, although currently Hambi and Harika is the two highest rated players. And Hambi I played so many times. We knew each other very well. We played not only the World Championship matches, but also we met in the semi-final twice in the knockout system. So I could definitely say that she is one of the best female players, at least at her best time. She's strong, and she also achieved 2,600 something at that time.
The third player to do it, yeah?
Not the second?
Judith? You?
No, Hemi is before me to reach 2,600.
She was the second in time, yeah. But only 3 players in history, yeah? Or
I heard probably there's a fourth one, which I'm not 100% sure.
You guys can do research.
Okay.
Okay, but Harika, I don't know if I should remind you what happened recently.
Okay.
Like last week.
That is not a good memory, not very pleasant, but I mean, I'm very, I'm not very difficult towards my losing games, so it could be discussed. Of course, what I did in Alphaman was not so well, especially the second half of the event. I think that was because, I think since my game, which I lost to Fabiano. Because that game, it was, instead of Queen G4, I could simply took the pawn, which a normal human being will do, and that game was just completely equal. What I did is that I simply missed the tactics, and I lost stupid. And
so that
since that game,
you, yeah?
Well, I don't think from psychological part I changed a lot, but somehow things went wrong after that game.
Okay, Lautrec of Karim, I don't know what that means, in Twitter. Would you ever consider moving to another country? We would love to have you here in the United States.
First of all, we should thank this reader. It's such a nice invitation. Well, to speak about my future plan, I'm thinking to study in another country.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think it's not the same meaning with moving to that country, but I hope really to study abroad under a different educational system.
Yes.
And in the meantime, that I think will be more convenient to participate in the strong chess tournaments which held in Europe and the US.
Okay.
So I think that will benefit both my chess career and my studying career.
So I'm just looking whether Nigel wanted to come online in Skype, but he's not there. You know, you spoke to him today on Skype, yeah?
Oh yes, exactly. Maybe he was having dinner.
Yes. Okay. Who's your favorite player of all times? We answered that. Do you celebrate your birthday? Somebody named BRWSK, no vowels, so I can't pronounce the name. Do you celebrate your birthday? If so, just yourself or a group of people?
Of course, I celebrate, and if I celebrate, because luckily I never play the game on my birthday. So luckily I have time to celebrate.
You have never played a single competitive game, yeah?
In my birthday.
On your birthday.
I'm so lucky, I think, because I could have time to celebrate, to have fun with friends, with relatives, with my family, and so on.
So, Willie Lowe, are you ready for this question? Who's the most handsome GM today? Can you name 1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, and 3? Is he a
sorry.
chess player? Oh well, definitely I'm not ready for this question, especially the nowadays. Because if you catch the nowadays, I would point out my favorite player all the time. Because I think he's really...
Who?
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, okay. You're obsessed with Bobby Fischer.
Okay, I should say more. It's a hard question.
By the way, he was not a nice person. He was very, very interesting. But nice he wasn't.
Actually I heard this from different people. But hearing stories. Okay, I knew. It didn't really change my attitudes towards him.
Yes, of course.
Maybe it's because that he's my idol since a very young age. It's something are difficult to change through our lives.
Listen, he's my idol since my childhood. I had 3 sporting idols. Yes, shake hands. Over 1.5 generations, we have the same idols. It was Fischer. It was Beckenbauer. You don't know who that is. He was a football player.
Oh, okay.
And it was Muhammad Ali. These 3 people I worshipped. But I'm not the subject of today's. Sasha says, how do you balance both school and chess if you plan to become a titled world-class player?
Yeah.
You already are a world-class player.
That's a serious question. I think what he mentioned, the world-class, it means like really the top players or the both genders, not only for the women's section.
Yes.
I think so. So this is really a serious question. I think at some moment I should really put one thing in my priority.
Yes.
And what I'm ready to do currently is to pick chess, at least for recent 1 year. Trying to make some improvement, because the last 4 years, although I'm still active with chess tournaments, but unavoidably I should spend some time with my studying, doing the works, research. But this 1 year, at least, will be my gap year. So I could mainly concentrate on chess, trying to play more tough tournaments and to improve generally. And to balance that, back to the question, to balance that, so far I didn't really see a single example who's balancing 2 things in a perfect way. There are many doing good on both, but you see in top 10 there's none of them. So
completely devoted to chess and nothing else. The top 10. So Niranjan wants to know if you listen to instrumental Chinese music before games. Yeah?
Oh, before games? Yeah. Oh, no.
Not before games.
No.
But you enjoy instrumental Chinese music?
Not only instrumental Chinese music, but also many Western musics.
What kind of Western music?
Piano?
What? Piano? What kind of piano? Classical or
Classical, but honestly, I'm not really. That is not my favorite. My favorite is still the pop music. But of course, I listen.
But you've listened to classical piano music, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I have to
but
tell.
I'm not really a big fan of that. But of course, I listened.
Okay, I need to tell you that there's a person I worship, a Chinese person I worship. It's Yuja Wang. She's a classical piano player. Do you know her? I'll tell you about her later.
Okay.
I'll show you. She's one of the greatest pianists in the world. She's Chinese and she's very beautiful, and she plays fantastic. So
Okay. You keep continuing.
Let's play chess. Says what? What's your favorite color?
Oh, I could answer this question. I really have a favorite one.
No,
I become
really?
excited.
What?
Probably some people could already discover that my favorite color is purple. Oh, I'm not bringing that with me because you might notice that some of the games I'm bring a small bottle colored purple with me.
Yes.
I like purple, my favorite color. Okay, it should be called light purple, not like dark purples and so on.
Yes, I know. I have one of your thermos flasks, small ones, in purple. Vishal Sharin, where do you think is the women's chess headed without its best player participating in the main circuit? Now, before we answer this question, I have a number of questions which I've been keeping for later. Nigel Short, does persisting with a world championship system that has been tried, tested, and rejected in men's game constitute sexism? Another somewhere here said, why did you drop out? And why are you not playing in the World Championship cycle? Would you like to tell us?
Oh, yeah, of course, but it's a long story and probably it needs some time to explain for the whole thing.
We can do it briefly,
Yeah, exactly. First of all, because the Nigel Short's statement is first here, so I'll just start with this.
Yeah.
It's not working?
No, it's working. Pascal, would you just... No, it's back. It's back, sorry.
Okay, we continue.
A screensaver,
We continue that exactly. I think that the men system also kept knockout for a while. But I think that most of the elite players doesn't think that's the most fair way to elect or to fight for the best player, the world champion among the whole world. So they updated to a more reasonable and current system.
Which is candidates,
Grand Prix, knockout as a World Cup, and then the match.
Yes. So the Grand Prix and the candidates and so on, they elect a challenger, one challenger.
Yes, and why they updated? Because most of the people, they noticed the disadvantage of the knockout system, which the women's competition are still keeping that. I'm not saying this system is completely bad. Actually, I support to keep this system for sure, 100%, because I was playing a lot of knockout system. I enjoyed it, but I think it should be called as same as men the World Cup. You know why? Because the system if the system could be kept, so it will bring more women players, especially the women players from different regions, them a chance to play with elite players and to think that I'm involved in such a good chess world, in such a big chess family. It's very important in case to develop chess from a very basic level.
So keep the knockout, but the winner is not the world champion.
Yeah, it should be the World Cup, the World Cup winner.
Yeah. Because,
if we, the knockout system sometimes could happen with any surprise. Because normally there are only 2 games, and anything could happen. If you are playing a much weaker player, and you are not in a very good shape, you lost first round, the things already become very difficult. And the final match for women is also only just 4 games, which cannot demonstrate. You cannot just play 4 games and become the world champion.
You won 1 world championship knockout
Yeah, exactly. My first one.
And you lost one, yeah? In the third round, everyone got eliminated.
No, I lost in second round.
Second round,
actually. Yeah, you see. By the way, talking about this, at that time I lost to Monica Sochko, who is a great Polish player. We're also friends. We were playing the same team for the European Club Cup. But what I was trying to say is that I lost her. I think my only lost. All let's say few loses happened in the knockout system. For example, we played in Olympiads, in maybe some other tournaments as well. Okay, maybe we drew, but I also won few games. So that partially demonstrated that the knockout system could be very tricky, even play with a player that you're having a good result before.
I remember in the second round, all three top seeds got knocked out. Yeah?
Yes, at the time I think it's Humby and
Muzichuk. And you.
Oh, okay. I lost even earlier. I think Anna also the second round she lost to Anna Ushnina, the winner of that.
Yeah, so all the top players, and they were all about 100 or 150 rating points below you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, a question which a number of people have asked, but if you decide not to answer it, it's okay. What do you think about the World Championship, Women's World Championship in Tehran, where you have to wear a headscarf?
I heard about this, but only speaking, first of all, recently I'm busy with my tournament, and second of all, because I already decided that to drop out from the current, I dropped out from Grand Prix, but if the World Champion system kept like this, I will drop out from the whole women's system. So, I prefer to devote my energy to something I really pay attention, I really be involved instead of all the women's tournament.
Okay, I won't press on this. It's going to be a big story now. It's all over the press because there's been. Well, let's drop that subject. Let's see.
Oh, by the way, about the women's system, I would also like to say that in case to, develop women's chess, to develop it in a better way. Although this moment probably the World Chess Federation thinks it's not the right moment to change, but I hope that what I'm, proposing will benefit for the next generation of women's players because it's like a society. When sports develop to a certain moment, definitely they need some change.
Yeah.
So.
This is amazing because I was just about to read a question. Here it is. Lautrec of Karim, what format would you like for the Women's World Championship? And how would you design it what would you say?
Because we are living in the current world, we cannot just be thinking fantasy. We should say something practical. And at the current moment, I think the most practical thing, after several discussions with the people from the FIDE and experienced people, I found out that it could be to create a match, a challenger match between the winner from Grand Prix and the winner from World Cup.
Which would mean that the Grand Prix, which is a knockout, yeah?
No, Grand Prix is not a knockout. No.
The Grand Prix. You played in the first Grand Prix this time?
Last year, yes.
Last year, but the current Grand Prix?
Yes, you still the current circle.
Who won that?
Me?
You won it,
yes.
Okay. And then you dropped out. So the winner of the Grand Prix would be the challenger, yeah?
No, the winner of the Grand Prix will play a challenger match with the winner of the World Cup.
So you had the World Cup, which is a knockout.
Still the
and
same.
And the Grand Prix.
Still the same.
Each would keep everything exactly as it is. And they play against each other. And then the winner plays against Hou Yifan.
Oh, well, the current world champion.
The current world champion.
Who was at the time is home. Because, I think from practical point, although I sincerely hope that both section will be the same, the world championship system for men and women. But because, a candidate tournament according to FIDE will be very difficult to find a good sponsor for women's tournament. Then I'm thinking that maybe it's better just to organize an additional match between two qualifiers.
Yes.
I think that's more practical or easy to do a small change because when you want to do some changes, it should be step by step. So far I could say this is the first step we might try in the future.
I think also that there is a huge potential. When you played against Conor against Humpy, I approached some manufacturers of automobiles, and they said, "Wait a minute, Women's World Championship and a Chinese girl against an Indian girl, that's like half the population of the world."
Exactly. That's a good point.
They said, of course we'll do it. And then in the end, it was played in where? Tirana.
Urbania.
And these guys said to me, where is that? But it was a missed opportunity. Here's a question.
Albania is an old friend of my country, China.
Yes.
Back to history, just
of course.
to mention.
But it is small.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Albert Silva tells us that there are 4 players, I think, who exceeded 2,600. Is that correct? Muzichuk also. Anna.
Okay, that's the latest one. But what I was confusing, probably there's a one before Humby and me. There's a one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember whom, but probably it's not true.
Albert, who's before Humpy and Yifan. Okay. And then what do you think the highest ELO is that you could ever achieve?
Well, my highest rating until this moment was, I think, 608 something.
600? 1,000?
No,
2,000?
2,608 something. That was my historical highest rating until this moment.
2,600 and we how much?
80 something.
80. Almost 2,700.
Almost, yes.
Wow, I looked this up.
No, you didn't know that? Maybe because I kept it for a very short while, so you didn't notice I already dropped it back.
I did. I probably wrote about it, but
Yeah, so I think that talking at this moment, at least I should try
2686. This is how.
Thanks for the reminding. Exactly, and I remember this.
Jiraiya Sama. These guys, instant reply.
Yeah,
instant
exactly.
Research.
So I think at least I should try myself to break 2,700.
Yeah.
And then the highest, of course I hope the higher is better. I don't set any limitation for myself.
Okay.
Because if you set, when you reach, probably you're thinking, probably it's time to relax. I think that's not the most positive attitude towards life.
I might be wrong, but I think the little 11-year-old boy whom you played and beat, when they asked him, how far do you think you can go? He said 3,000.
Oh, okay.
But that's cute,
Yeah, he's so cute.
Like that.
Maybe at our age we are more practical.
Well, you've seen a couple of new functions in our software.
Should I reveal that to
okay,
our readers?
Yes, tell.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's not something secret.
No,
I just want to double check.
No, go ahead.
Okay. There's some very interesting functions. What, for example, but we shouldn't use the screen, or we could? But now it doesn't show. Okay, but it could be like when you click a piece, there's a very strong hidden machine hide behind
engine, yeah.
Hidden engine, sorry, hide behind the screen. And when you click a piece, it will immediately calculate that not only how many possible squares you could go for, but each squares, what is the best. They will have orders like, okay, the most green color will be the strongest, and the most red color will be the weakest.
So worst, I think loses a piece.
Yes, exactly. I think that will be very useful, especially for the chess fans, because then you don't need to watch the small screen with all the annoying analysis with notations, but from very visual chessboard, we can realize everything. That is very good.
That's interesting because you're a very, very strong chess player, and when Matthias showed it to you, he said, "Of course, this is not for you; it's for amateurs." But you and Vidit, who's also here, and who's also 2700 almost. Both of them stood there and said, wow, this is really great. So you click on a piece and it shows you all the squares the piece can go to in different colors, and you can tell, and sometimes you say, why can't it go there? Why is that bad? And without having to look at engines and variations and so
Use our own brain to think for the
Yes,
answer.
yes.
Yeah.
So maybe
And
yeah.
not I think, there will be more and more interesting functions that we should wait our followers to explore when they're using the new edition of ChessBase.
Yes.
By the way, there's someone asking whether it's 14. We should probably let our followers know when we will.
I think we shouldn't tell them
No?
what you saw. You saw a secret. She stood there with the two main programmers of ChessBase, and it was very interesting. By the way, they profit a lot from this as well, because they listened to what she was trying to do and then developed new ideas. Okay, we have been at it for just over an hour. We're going to wrap up soon.
Okay.
I would like to ask you a couple of personal questions. When are you coming back?
After this very wonderful afternoon, I would like to stay here.
Yes.
But if it's not possible, then I would love to be back as soon as possible. So probably we will meet online in the near future.
Thank you. That's very nice. And you're always welcome. And I've got to know you much better than before. And you're welcome. You can come, stay for as long as you like.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Frederick.
Goodbye, and thank you for listening in. We will be answering a few questions online, Twitter and Facebook, but also this video will be captured and put on YouTube, so anyone who missed it can watch it later.
I will miss everyone. See you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Oh, someone said next week, every week.
Yeah,
Okay.
You should do it every week. Come on.
Now I will consider to change my profession.
No, you know what we could do? We could make it available to you from anywhere, from China. You can do it from Beijing.
Or
Okay.
maybe next time we should launch a ChessBase China.
Yeah, would you like to do ChessBase China for us?
I'd love to
We did ChessBase
join.
India.
I would love to join.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you.